Aren't you tired of seeing amazing cities on City Skylines? Cities where citizens are super happy and love where they live. Parks everywhere, livable neighborhoods? Well, so am I. So I'm gonna do something about it. Introducing Jonathan City, a city devoted to making people's lives miserable. Jumping right in with a freeway connection. For the main, it'll be a 12-lane span allowing immigrants to flow into the city, and a few other freeways sprinkled around to surround it. Oh, and also, I'll be playing with infinite money and infinite demand because, well, I tried this without it, and let's just say, it didn't go very well. Now that that's out of the way, you'd think a basic street layout would be ideal for something like this, which is exactly what I'm doing, but with a twist. You see, I'm gonna build canals in between the blocks for a Venice feel, but don't worry, it's not gonna be as nearly as luxurious as it sounds. I then also made a very high-tech collection system for the liquid that would be in the canals, and an area for it to float out into the ocean. Yeah, I actually forgot to record the last 20 minutes of gameplay, so surprise! Quick coal power plant over here, next to some houses, and yeah, I'm dumping people's raw sewage into these Venice-style canals right in their backyards, so not so luxurious anymore. And well, I had a miscalculation on how much poo the 527 people here actually produced. The canals were way over capacity. Drastic measures had to be taken, including but not limited to extra canals and, well, later on forcing people to drink their own feces, but, you know, we're just gonna ignore that. Right off the bat, citizen happiness was at 12%. A good effort to start, but nowhere near our goal of 0%. Pure misery is what I want for the people of this city. All the poo flooding, though, grinded the city to a halt. Cars were scattered on freeways and IKEA trucks lay dormant. Coming back to what I was saying earlier, the citizens are going to be drinking their own unfiltered waste. So I put in some big pumps over here and blocked off the ocean. And then, of course, a few more sucky things over here for the drinking water. Of course, mainly to keep the poo in check. Oh, and in case I forgot to mention, there's going to be no services of any kind for the citizens. But now that the poo issues are taken care of, time to grow the city more. Industrial waste found in yard. That's just what I like to hear. And for these new zones, we're gonna have some industrial right in the center with some mixed zoning, residential and commercial around the edges. And some parks just to get people to move in, which, don't worry, I'll be removing very soon. You might think, Cooves, isn't mixed zoning good? It promotes walkable cities and things are close together, and yes, I do agree, but in this game it creates a huge amount of noise, which is unbearable for people to live near, so naturally, I'm going to sprinkle a few coal power plants as well, just to make it even worse. Things were looking good though. Many businesses were moving in, like Big Ice Cube Factory and Box Factory, and just like I promised before, all those parks, gone. Ah, yes, look at all those frowny faces, just what I like to see. I wasn't very happy, though, with the fact that the poo was not very contrasting over the regular watercolor, so I did some experimenting with the colors. I tried pink, I tried green, which I thought looked very cool, like a radiation poo, but I ended up settling on this brown. Good show, looks just like regular poo. Then, for this new area, I built and added a few more poo chutes. That didn't go very well though, since mass flooding ensued again, and so I just ended up removing those pipes and settled on what I had before. How about another round of answering citizens' questions? When is our city going to have a school of its own? Well, I'm sorry, Cedric Young, but never. Just more housing with that amazing mixed zoning layout I was talking about earlier. There were just so many things going on now in this big city. We had buildings on fire, and I knew just the way to extinguish it, with a sewage pipe, or just destroy the whole building instead, okay? And we have a dead person waiting for transport? Well, they're never gonna get picked up. This is just what I like to see. And quick update on the happiness, we're now down to 3%. This is looking really good, we're on the right track here. But we need to make it lower. To make life even worse for the people who are gonna live here, we are gonna tax the living hell out of them. 29% tax for all is the new fiscal policy. And thanks to all the generous contributions from the 29% tax that made no difference to my budget, I decided to make a Florida-based neighborhood. And the canals in Florida, they're usually full of crocodiles and breeding groups for mosquitoes, not in this city. This ain't gonna be anything like that. We're gonna be filling it with, you guessed it, poo. Nothing but the best for my citizens. Then I decided I wanted all the sewage to go into the ocean. After all, I'd prefer to poison the ocean as well as feeding my people poo. And the other pumps, well, they had that covered. So I destroyed these pumps and the dam and let the fight of the century begin. Back in the Florida-based neighborhood, things were looking, as usual, a bit flooded. So I carved in some canals for relief. And since now we were low on power, I dotted a few more coal power plants around the city for people to enjoy. I'm not really sure why I did this, but I added a clinic to the city. I think I thought one overcrowded clinic would be funny or something. I don't know what I was thinking. This city sucks, period. But Stephanie, what about the new clinic? Does it still suck? I felt determined to get back at Stephanie. So Stephanie, is it really gonna suck after I add a bus route in the city, randomly dotted everywhere in the worst and most inconvenient line ever? Well, I sure hope so. And also, I'm gonna be lowering the amount of buses to 2 for the entire line. I really wanted to get more people into the city, but I needed jobs. So we're gonna make ones far from the people, so it's a long and painful drive. So, a new interstate across the countryside. Now I'm making sure to route it around a grass field so I can destroy this ancient monument. Whoopsie! And the freeway is going to end here on a 1-lane road just to make a traffic jam, making it more miserable for the truckers and other people who have to come here. And of course, the toxic waste from the factories needs to go somewhere, so no better than this pond. And I'm feeling nice, so I'm gonna give the city its only park. Right in the middle of the industrial area, of course, so kids can play next to the smokestacks, absorbing lead and other things into their blood, assuming they'll even make it out to the playground. Things were going quite well. I thought it was about time the city deserved some names for the freeways. This one is going to be called Jonathan Freeway, and I'm going to call this one Industry Interstate. I know, very original names. I mean, you can't really ask much more, can you? The industrial area, though, was an achievement. Pollution everywhere, sludge water seeping up onto the shores, no one able to afford the taxes. Overall happiness low, which makes my overall happiness high. Oh, and a quick update on the bus route. It has about 40 riders and 8 people who are bored. Then the hospital I placed earlier turned out to be a huge mistake. It kept getting robbed. And I think when it's gone, people are really gonna miss it and be miserable. So I demolished it with all the patients still inside. Ah, yes, more frowny faces. I think that, though, was the tipping point for the city, because then, soon after, we hit our goal of 0% happiness. Every citizen as miserable as it gets. Crime everywhere, poor health, and horrible living conditions overall. This challenge, then, I'd say, was a huge success. Everything went perfect. So, see ya.